There's a nut you can buy at any grocery store for less than $1. You crack it open. You rub the raw meat directly across a deep scratch in your hardwood floor or to your dining room table. And something happens that makes professional wood refinishers physically uncomfortable. The scratch disappears, not faded, not blurred, gone. The gouge that you were certain meant sanding, staining, and 3 coats of polyurethane fills itself in, darkens to match the surrounding grain, and vanishes as though the damage never occurred. 1 nut, 30 seconds, no sanding, no stain, no finish. And the scratch does not come back. It is permanently repaired at the molecular level by the oils and proteins inside a piece of food that costs less than a pack of gum. This has been known for centuries. Woodworkers in colonial America rubbed walnut meat into furniture scratches as standard practice. European cabinet makers in the 1700s used nut oils as finishing compounds. Chinese lacquer workers understood that natural oils penetrate wood grain in ways that synthetic fillers cannot. For hundreds of years, every craftsman who worked with hardwood knew that the fastest, cheapest, and most invisible scratch repair was sitting in a bowl on the kitchen table. Then, someone in a corporate boardroom did the math. The wood floor refinishing industry generates over $3 billion annually in the United States alone. Furniture repair services add billions more. Wood stain and finish products represent a multi-billion-dollar retail category. A $1 nut that eliminates the need for sanding, staining, and professional refinishing is not a product alternative. It is a revenue amputation. And what amputates revenue must be dismissed as a folk remedy and buried under marketing for $50 scratch repair kits. Welcome to Forbidden Fix. If these stories matter to you, hit subscribe and the bell. This is where we dig up what industries spent decades trying to erase. The nuts that work best are walnuts and pecans, though any raw nut with a high oil content will produce results. And the science behind why this works is not folklore. It is lipid chemistry and wood anatomy working in concert. Wood is not a solid, uniform material. It is a biological structure composed of cellulose fibers bound together by lignin, arranged in long tubular cells that run parallel to the grain. These cells are hollow. They function like microscopic straws. When wood is alive, these cells carry water and nutrients. When wood is harvested, dried and milled into flooring or furniture, the cells remain structurally intact but empty. The grain pattern you see on a hardwood surface is the visible expression of these cell structures, and the density variations between early wood and late wood growth. When you scratch hardwood, you are physically displacing these cellulose fibers. The scratch is a valley, a groove where fiber bundles have been torn, compressed, or pushed aside. The exposed interior of the wood is lighter in color than the finished surface because the finish layer, whether it is oil, polyurethanes, or wax, has been removed, and the raw cellulose beneath reflects more light. The scratch looks white or pale against the darker surrounding wood. The visual damage is disproportionate to the physical damage. The wood is not destroyed, it is exposed. When you rub a raw walnut or pecan across this scratch, 3 things happen simultaneously. First, the nut meat is a physical filler. The soft, oily flesh of the nut compresses into the groove, packing the displaced fibers back into position and filling the void with organic material that is structurally compatible with wood. Second, the nut releases its natural oils directly into the damaged area. Walnuts contain approximately 65% oil by weight, primarily linoleic acid and oleic acid. These oils are chemically similar to the natural oils found in hardwood species like walnut, oak, cherry, and mahogany. When pressed into the scratch, the oils penetrate the exposed cellulose fibers through capillary action, saturating them. Saturated wood fibers reflect less light. They darken. The scratch color shifts from pale, exposed cellulose to a tone that closely matches the surrounding finished wood. Third, and this is the mechanism that makes the repair permanent, walnut oil is a drying oil. Unlike mineral oil or silicon oil, which remain liquid indefinitely, walnut oil undergoes oxidative polymerization when exposed to air. The unsaturated fatty acid chains in the oil react with atmospheric oxygen and cross-link into a solid polymer film. This is the exact same chemistry that makes linseed oil and tung oil harden into a durable finish. The walnut oil that has penetrated the scratch cures in place over 24 to 48 hours, forming a hardened seal within the wood fibers. The repair is not a temporary cosmetic trick. It is a permanent chemical bond. The Journal of the American Oil Chemists Society has published extensive research on the drying oil properties of walnut oil, confirming its iodine value of approximately 150, which classifies it firmly in the drying oil category alongside linseed and tung oil. Drying oils with iodine values above 130 polymerize reliably upon air exposure. The chemistry is settled, the repair mechanism is documented, the result is permanent. Before I go further, this video covers the basic scratch repair technique. Inside the Forbidden Fix Vault, I have compiled complete wood restoration guides covering every species of hardwood, every type of finish, advanced oil blending techniques for color matching, deep gouge repair protocols, and the professional refinishing methods that restoration companies charge thousands of dollars to perform. The link is in the description. But stay right here, because the economics of the wood repair industry are the part that should change how you look at every scratch in your home. Professional furniture restorers and antique dealers have used nut oils for scratch concealment for as long as the profession has existed. High-end antique restoration shops in London, Paris, and New York routinely use walnut oil and pecan oil as touch-up agents on valuable pieces, because the natural oil integrates with the original wood in a way that synthetic fillers never can. Museum conservation departments, including those at the Smithsonian Institution, use natural oil-based treatments for wood artifact preservation. The practice is standard in professional circles. It is only absent from consumer awareness. The wood floor refinishing industry in the United States charges between $3 and $8 per square foot for a full sand and refinish job. A typical room costs between $700 and $2,000. A full house refinish runs $3,000 to $8,000. Furniture refinishing services charge between $200 and $1,000 per piece, depending on size and complexity. The scratch repair product aisle at your local hardware store is stocked with wax pencils, stain markers, fill sticks, and liquid scratch removers ranging from $8 to $30 each. Every one of these products and services depends on the consumer not knowing that a $1 bag of walnuts from the grocery store produces a superior result on the majority of surface and moderate depth scratches. If you have made it this far, you understand more about wood anatomy and lipid chemistry than 99% of homeowners panic buying scratch repair kits at the hardware store. Subscribe and share. One share might save someone $2,000 on a floor refinish they never needed. Here is exactly how to do it. Step 1. Obtain raw walnuts or pecans. They must be raw and unroasted. Roasting alters the oil composition and reduces penetration effectiveness. Shelled halves work best. Step 2. Clean the scratched area with a slightly damp cloth to remove dust and debris. Let it dry completely. Step 3. Take a walnut or pecan half and rub it firmly along the scratch, following the direction of the wood grain. Apply moderate pressure. You will see the nut meat breaking down and the oils being deposited directly into the scratch. Step 4. Continue rubbing for 15 to 30 seconds. The scratch will begin to darken as the oils saturate the exposed fibers. Step 5. Using your fingertip or a soft cloth, gently buff the area to spread the oils evenly and press the nut residue further into the groove. Step 6. Let the repair sit undisturbed for 5 to 10 minutes. Then lightly buff again with a clean cloth to remove any surface residue. Step 7. Allow 24 to 48 hours for the walnut oil to undergo oxidative polymerization and cure into a permanent seal. Avoid cleaning the repaired area with water or chemicals during this period. Total cost? Less than $1 for a handful of walnuts. Compare that to the $800 floor refinishing quote or the $25 scratch repair kit. I need to be honest with you. This method works exceptionally well on surface scratches and moderate depth gouges in finished and unfinished hardwood. It works on floors, tables, chairs, cabinets, and trim. It is most effective on darker wood species like walnut, cherry, mahogany, and dark stained oak, where the oil darkening effect closely matches the surrounding color. On very light woods, like maple, birch, or unstained white oak, the walnut oil may create a slightly darker spot that does not blend as seamlessly. For extremely deep gouges, where wood fibers have been physically removed rather than just displaced, the nut alone cannot rebuild missing material. It will improve the appearance, but a fill and finish approach may be needed for full restoration. This method does not replace a damaged polyurethane finish layer. It repairs the wood beneath the finish, but does not rebuild a protective top coat. If the surrounding finish is heavily worn, a localized refinish may still be necessary, and this works on real wood only. It will not work on laminate, vinyl plank, or printed wood grain surfaces. For 300 years, a scratched floor or table was a 30-second repair. Your great-grandmother cracked a walnut, rubbed it on the mark, and went about her day. No trip to the store, no can of stain, no sanding block, no refinisher on the calendar. Then the home improvement industry arrived, and it told her granddaughter that a scratch required a product, a kit, a service, a professional, all for a problem that a piece of food solves in less time than it takes to open the packaging on a $25 repair stick. There was not a more effective solution. There was just a more expensive one. Subscribe and share. Every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside might explain why a stripped screw has been defeating you for years when a single drop of paste would have solved it instantly.